those of you who have heard me speak before know that I love quotes and I love cliches, if you will, that can turn into reality if we live them. Number one, we become the average of the 5 people we associate with the most. I want you to answer right out of the chutes, why did you come here? If it's only to learn about how to make money, which Laurel Langmeyer is an expert in, good for you, but that's not enough. If you want an update in real estate and you give Ty Bennett, and you bring Steve, and you bring Crone, and you bring everybody from Strongbrook up on this stage, that's not enough. If you hang around with 5 broke people, you're going to be broke. If you hang around with 5 whiners, you're going to be a whiner. However, if you believe as I believe that we become the average of the 5 people we associate with the most, which means we must be willing to pay any price and travel any distance to associate with extraordinary human beings, you're here. I'm just an MC. I've got 15 minutes, then I'll introduce Ty, then I come back, and I should take 45, 50 minutes just to suck up to Laurel, because when you read her resume, that's not enough. But thank God I have a video to help me bring her on stage in a moment. I'm a storyteller, primary contributing author to all the Chicken Soup for the Soul books. So here's a couple of stories for you to think about. Based on the quote that under pressure, you do not rise to the occasion, you sink to the level of your training. Therefore, pressure is not something that is naturally there. It's created when you question your own ability. And when you know what you've been trained to do, there's never any question. That's why we train so hard. Sales professionals have proven that those sales professionals who follow a system of success that you'll hear about from Laurel, the Strongbrook Mentoring Program is famous for, as we continually build it one mentor at a time, one participant at a time. When you realize that as a sales professional, if you religiously and discipline yourself to follow a system of success, you increase your chances of closing the sale by 93%. And if you don't follow a system, if you disobey, you drastically reduce your chances of closing a sale to 42%. Proven, taken to the bank, facts and figures. So what we've got to do is figure out why someone will do business with you. My buddy Simon Sinek, he says, the goal is not to do business with everybody who wants what you have. The goal is to do business only with those who believe what you believe, so they choose you, not just someone who does what you do. So in the world of work, when you know the system and everybody around you knows the system, what separates you from them? What allows you to create that competitive advantage so you know you deserve to make money, that no one is better, no one's more brilliant, no one's more significant than you, because you have become all that you were born to be? 2 stories will illustrate that. Question number 1, any musicians in the room? Very cool. Who would have thought? Smartest people in the world are musicians. We don't learn critical thinking through the sciences and through math. We learn it through the arts. Good for you. If someone asks you how many notes are there in music, even if you're not a musician, we can all count. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Most respond, there are 7 notes in music. Contraire, mon frère. In the year 1685, a very famous music composer in Western Europe decides he wants more options. He's the guy that put the black keys on the piano. And if you look at the 88 keys on a keyboard, there are 7 white notes and 5 black notes, a total of 12 notes in music. And those 12 notes repeat themselves every 12 notes, which is called an octave, and in the chromatic scale, which allows us to write music, which allows you to play the music we've written. It turns music into the international language. I love music. What does that have to do with you? What does it have to do with mentoring? What does that have to do with tonight? What does it have to do with Laurel's system of success that you're going to hear about? Everything. Why? Do you realize that every single song ever written was written with the same 12 notes? Do you know this? The only difference between one song and another song is the order in which those 12 notes fall and the timing and spacing in between the notes. I wish I had a piano up here. I could put on a magnificent display from the world of music to make my point. We could play a Rachmaninoff piano concerto using all 88 keys on the piano. We could play a little Wynton Marsalis smooth jazz. I'm a rhythm and blues guitar player. We could play a little Stevie Ray Vaughan, a little B.B. King. We could play a country ballad like My Wife Ran Off with My Best Friend and I'm Going to Miss Him Dearly. Are any of you into country music? I got gold records in country music. I got some good songs. Had I shot you when I met you, I'd be out of jail by now. Any of you heard my songs? These guys are like, finally, something worth writing down. This is going good. What's my point? Every single song ever written was written with the same 12 notes. The only difference between one song and another song, order in which the 12 notes fall, and the timing and spacing in between the notes. So here's the question of every day. What's the difference between a hit songwriter and a lousy songwriter that have access to the same 12 notes? What's the difference between an awesome banker and a lousy banker? They have access to the same interest rates and the same economy. I drive 45 minutes one way to bank, and never once have I ever asked what the interest rates are on my loans. If money becomes the topic of conversation, it means the relationship is weak and the presentation really is bad. What's the difference between a great mentor and a lousy mentor? What's the difference between a great speaker and a lousy speaker? A good speaker shows up and thinks, it's my chance to bless, not impress. We're not going to whip off speech A. We're going to communicate and connect with the idea that when we leave, everyone says, I like me best when I'm with you. I want to see you again. I like me best when I'm with you. I want to see you again. Music is magical. The difference between a hit songwriter and a lousy songwriter is passion, creativity, and imagination. So the next time you hear someone on a stage say, you got to think outside the lines, you got to think outside the box, join me in the back of the room and say, what if the answers are still in the box? Most people who come to meetings like this come in search of the new answers. You're poised to take copious notes. Come on, Clark, what's the secret sauce? Give me some pixie dust. We're poised to take some copious notes when in reality, don't you think we ought to come in search of the right answers? And the right answers have always been right, or we can't call them right. When you get around somebody like Chris Krohn, when you get around he and his partners who created Strongbrook in the first place, you will realize, as I now know, that regardless of the industry, regardless of the way they choose to make their money, they will always succeed because they follow what is right, the time-tested true principles of success that I've converted into what I call the 12 highest universal laws of life-changing leadership, and shamelessly plug my book, even though nobody else is going to do that. And I need the money. Let me drag you into country music to make my point. Anybody here a country music fan? First gold record in country music was a guy by the name of Michael Peterson. We wrote a song called Drink, Swear, Steal, and Lie. I'm an inspirational genius. Teamed up with a great songwriter. His name's Don Schlitz. He wrote You Say It Best When You Say Nothing at All. That's a good song. He wrote a song for Kenny Rogers called The Gambler. He and I put Kenny Rogers back on the charts. Little boy in his baseball hat stands in a field with his ball and bat. He says, I'm the greatest. He throws the ball, swings, misses strike one, throws the ball, swings, misses strike two, throws the ball, swings, misses strike three. He's out. What does he say? Man, am I a good pitcher. That's a good song. My best love song so far is called Real Man. Visualize Faith Hill singing and not me. I need a man who knows happily ever after is a day at a time proposition. A man who knows making love is not a 3-minute composition. It's a slow dance. Aren't you glad you came? Yeah. Actually, you're late. Sorry, I'd like to start over. Chris, could you introduce me, please, again? And I need a man who knows happily ever after is a day at a time proposition. A man who knows making love is not a 3-minute composition. It's a slow dance full of romance, a walk on the beach in the sand. It's having a whole conversation just by holding my hand. He would stir deep desire that sets me on fire to be with them all that I can. No, I won't settle for anything less than a real man. Chorus. A real man strong in stature, firm in faith, and kisses slow. He sometimes cries, and when we hug, he's the last one to let go. Worshiping the ground I walk on, he's my biggest fan. There's nothing like being loved by a real man. Most of you women are looking at me like, these ladies who just came in, you're looking at me like, do you mind if we smoke? This is going really good, Dan. Thanks so much. Could you repeat that one chorus part? Yeah. Woo! And most of you gentlemen are looking at me like, oh, perfect. I was interviewed on country radio. They said, how does a linebacker write a song like that? I said, it was easy. I made a list of things I wasn't. And I decided I could become them. Not because it's expected by others, but because it's demanded of myself. Strongbrook, the mentoring program, everything you're going to experience tonight and everything you experience on a daily basis because you are into the family, you're into the nation, you're into the subscription. It makes you so passionate, creative, and imaginative that you will figure out how to use these systems that you learn about to not just make money, but to make money so that you can help others make money and leave a legacy, which is Strongbrook's #1 goal. I guarantee every single time I'm around anyone from Strongbrook and the mentors that I've met, I leave saying, I like me best when I'm with you. I want to see you again. And my daily goal is to think like a songwriter. No matter how many deals I've done in the past, no matter how many relationships I've created or developed in the past, today's a brand new day for me to take the same basic, boring, naked 12 notes and using passion, creativity, and imagination, arrange the systems of success to do what I need to do. I would be remiss if I didn't at least share one story that illustrates why it's important for us to make money. A lot of us have been taught, and you've heard me say this before, that money is evil. No, it's not. The love of money is what's evil. And the last time I was on a Strongbrook stage, I reminded everybody that from a scriptural perspective, from a biblical example, do you realize the same coinage, the same money that the Good Samaritan used to do good in his community is the exact same coinage and money that Judas Iscariot used to betray Christ. Money is good. How we use it can be good or bad. And what we need to do is listen to the systems. What we need to do is understand the significance of Strongbrook, who bring the experts to the stage, and then through the subscription, invite them into your homes, into your computers, into your private space to ignite and trigger more passion, creativity, and imagination, remind you why it's important for you to be that entrepreneur, why it's so important for you to do whatever you can possibly do so you position yourself in a way that you can now reach over, reach out, and especially reach down and help other people do exactly what you're learning to do. That's significance, where you leave a legacy by focusing in on what matters most, which is what lasts the longest. Final story. And I looked at my watch, which changed the story. I wrote the story when I was 13. 13 years old, someone, a teacher, a middle school in our day, junior high teacher, saw in me something that I didn't see in myself. Is that why you're here? Yeah. To give you an opportunity to look inside. And she encouraged me to write a story, participate in a speech essay competition. I took her word of confidence. I wrote the story. It won the speech essay competition. We turned it into a family heirloom by putting it on a holiday greeting card when I was a young guy. And it appeared in my very first book, and it appeared in the very first volume of Chicken Soup for the Soul, which I've been involved with since day one in 1993. A store owner was tacking a nail in a sign above his store door which read, "Puppies for sale." Signs like that have a way of attracting small children, and sure enough, a little boy appears at the store owner's side. Says, "How much are you going to sell the puppies for?" Store owner assured the little boy that they were very, very good dogs. He didn't expect to let any of them go for anything less than $35 to $50. To that, the little boy reaches in his pocket. He pulls out some change. He counts it for a minute. He looks up at the store owner and he says, "Well, sir, I have $2.37. Can I look at the little puppies?" Store owner smiles. He says, "Sure, son," and he whistles. Out of the kennel comes a lady running down the aisle of his store, followed by 5 little teeny balls of fur, one puppy lagging considerably behind. Immediately, the little boy singles out the lagging, limping puppy, says, "What's wrong with that little dog?" The store owner says, "Oh, we took that dog to the veterinarian. The doctor examined it, discovered it didn't have a hip socket. It would always limp. It would always be slow." To that, the little guy says, "That's the little puppy I want to buy." Store owner says, "Nah, you don't want to buy that little dog. If you really want him, I'll just give him to you." Now the little guy gets ticked off. He gets right into the face of the store owner, points his finger and says, "I don't want you to just give him to me. That little puppy right there is worth every bit as much as all the other little dogs, and I'll pay full price. In fact, I'll give you $2.37 now and 50 cents a month until I have him paid for." Store owner says, nah, you don't want to buy that little dog. He's never going to be able to run and jump and play with you like the other little puppies. In response to that, the little boy reaches down. He pulls up his pant leg to reveal a badly twisted left leg supported by a big steel brace going down each side of his leg. The little physically challenged kid looks up at the store owner and he says, well, sir, I don't really run so well myself. And the little puppy will need someone who understands. This evening is more than just about how to make money. It's more than just an inspirational opportunity for you to see the wisdom in participating in a Strong Book mentoring program, but hopefully it's to allow you to dig deeper than you've ever dug before and connect your head and your heart so you first and foremost understand who you are and your potential, and that you leave here with qualified systems of success that if you obey will be guaranteeing your ability to take yourself from where you are to where you want to be, not just financially, but how about physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, socially, and with our families. Because it does us absolutely no good to make a lot of money if we don't have anybody to enjoy it with.